with Starfleet Academy coming up here in about a week. We wanted to talk about our favorite Star Trek moments, Star Trek episodes, Star Trek characters, or anything Star Trek on that matter. Because I don't think the Orville should be left out of the topic either. Absolutely love the Orville.
Dude.
So, let's see. What do you guys think? Where do you Let's start from the beginning. Where did you get your Star Trek love from? Where'd you start?
Ooh, mine's gonna be pretty short. So I'll just kick it off first here. So in the beginning of my life, Star Trek was the inconvenient show that my parents would put on. But as time goes on, I get reintroduced to some of these concepts, characters, storylines, and plots. I think I gain a deeper appreciation for what Star Trek really is. It's not the flashy Star Wars necessarily. It's not quite as adventurous as some other sci-fi and fantasies go. But it definitely it has a spirit. It has a soul to it, and it may be flawed in some ways. There are some great adventures they go on. But I think a lot of it's in the characters. I really have gained an appreciation for the characters that I don't think I quite would have understood the nuance as a kid. And so as I kind of relearn some of these characters, I'm enjoying them a lot more. So yeah, I guess I started almost as a Star Trek hater as a kid, but have grown into really appreciating and liking the franchise. And talking with you fine folks has given me kind of a rejuvenation in that, and a newfound appreciation for Star Trek. So I'll kick it over to you, Mariah Bain. What are your thoughts?
Well said. I'm bowing to you.
Yeah, I grew up on it. I mean, I've been watching Star Trek since I was a little kid. So there's always been Star Trek in my life. I had my two uncles, my Uncle Steve and my Uncle Harold, that were diehard Star Trek fans, and so it was something we just watched all the time. The original, obviously the original series, TOS, is where I got my start, and then the Next Generation came around, etc. I will say that every Star Trek has had its own soul. And I definitely liked others, or some more than others. Some I categorically disliked, such as Discovery. I just thought I didn't like. Wayne has pointed it out in the past, and he's very accurate with it. Is that single character focus was a downfall of the show, especially when the character was. And I like the actress. It's just the character was kind of unlikable. She just wasn't. She just didn't have. I didn't care. I cared more about these peripheral characters that I'd like to have known more about.
Right.
I so much so that I can name just about every crew of every, but I would love to know more about her. She was a cool character. She had some trauma, and she had to get past that trauma, and it was just some cool stuff. Even when we lost the android character, well, the cybernetic character, I should say, she was cyborg, not android. But even when we lost her, I cared because in that episode they gave us a story about her. But prior to that, if they'd been like last episode she died, I'd be like, bummer. I mean, but I didn't get it. Introduction to
and they did a lot of on him as well.
Yeah, and I liked what they had with him, and I loved the whole stories of his people, etc.
Yeah, he had to get over his fear because their people were prey to a lot of different creatures, and finally he got over it. And I always liked how he walked. He always had the little glide with his arms.
Yeah. The Kelpian race were just. It was interesting. It was neat to know that they were. It seemed like they were cattle in so many ways, only to find out they'd been oppressed for so long that that's what they started to believe about themselves, that they were actually the dominant species on the planet for prior. That was interesting. But it was such a brief little touch. Even the rebuilding of the Federation, there was so much potential there for a collapsed Federation and rebuilding it. By bringing in other ships, other captains, seeing the crew split off, but I don't know. It just they just dropped the ball, a lot in Discovery, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that having an ensemble cast, even though they're young unknowns, I mean, like a cast that seems like it's going to balance out a lot of different people going into Starfleet Academy. I'm really excited about that.
Because it does look like it's not going to be character based like a Next Generation or Voyager. It looks like it's going to be more towards a Voyager. Or, I'm sorry, Discovery. So I wonder
You
because I was
think?
watching the trailer and it starts off with this kid named Caleb who was taken from his mother and finally he was found and they brought him to Starfleet Academy. But that's when they introduce Robert Picardo, Mary Wiseman. I can't remember his name, but he plays Jafar in Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
In the Will Smith Aladdin.
Yeah.
So that's how
He's
I
the one.
remember him.
He plays the director of he was the
Yes,
president, or not the president, the director of the Federation.
in the future, right?
Because this takes place after Discovery, so it's the furthest out we've been for Star Trek. But I feel like the cast is going to be about different members, because I already know so many things. Like I know that the Klingon is atypical because he wants to become a medical officer, which is very
Right.
strange thing for that to do. I know that the um Bella Shepard's character Genesis, she's going to be she's very like determined to be the captain. She needs to be the head person. I think that we're going to see a lot of diversity in the episodes between cast members, unlike Discovery. I really do get that feeling. They even have this character that they're not talking a lot about this character, because I think she's supposed to end up being a like a sleeper character that's going to be like a big reveal or whatever. But Zoe Steiner is playing a character named Tarima Sadal. She's not part of the main 6 kids, but but she seems to be a love interest to one of the kids, and maybe an inappropriate love interest. Like she's already, I mean, maybe not like they're kids, but they're younger. She might be some kind of professor or something, or someone in there. But she says something about being afraid of losing control or she could hurt people. And then there's a scene where she's screaming and there's all kinds of destruction going on, as if maybe she's got some kind of siren-like effect going on. So she's going to be an interesting character. And then there's, what's that?
Well, the kid was, I think it was Caleb who said, "I'm not afraid."
Yeah, it was, yeah. Well, yeah. So we'll see. But I mean, I'm just really interested in that the one character, it might be Gina Yashir who's playing, but she's doing weird, awkward things. Like she's not culturally been around humans or something. Like she goes to shake the one person's hand and she shakes her hand out like this, and the girl turns it and shakes her hand.
Yeah.
So but it seems alien. It seems foreign, and people are from different cultures and different walks, and that's what Star Trek is to me.
Yeah.
I really like that idea of exploring and finding new life and new people and new experiences. That's what's always appealed to me from that. And so I'm really excited. I'm excited. I'm optimistically excited for it.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'll definitely, just like Discovery, even though I didn't care for it, I still watched it every week that it came out. I was like, well, I love Star Trek, and it is Star Trek, so you got to just kind of watch it. And it started off so good with Captain Georgiou, but then when she died, but when she became part of Section 31, I thought it was pretty cool too.
I like the kid, although I think Section 31, the movie.
Oh no!
It was just it felt very. It just felt very B movie-ish.
It was
like it didn't, like it felt rushed, and
I
like
agree.
it almost felt like I was watching the prototype of a show. Like it was still in the works and needed all fine-tuned. If they'd fine-tuned it, it would have been much better. But yeah, I was a little disappointed about that. But then again, they're also doing cool shit like Paul Giamatti's character, Nusbraka, is half Klingon, half Tellarite, which you don't get enough Tellarite. You don't get enough
so
Tellarite.
Interesting there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tellarites were one of the founding members of the Federation. It was humans, Betazoids, Tellarites, and Andorians. That's the 4, or Vulcans. The five founding members of the Federation. And you never see Tellarites. They were the pig-nosed guys in the old series, so never, so they were not attractive. So I think that they didn't sell a lot of television.
Is that
So, but
I'm sorry, is that the Paul Giamatti character? Is the what
yeah,
of that race? Okay, all right.
yeah, he's half Klingon, and we've seen half human, half everything, but we've never
Right, but
seen a half something and half something else. This is a first. So I'm really curious how that's. I like to see that, because if the way the Star Trek's based is everybody's based on the founders. We're all genetically linked. All these different races are. That's just kind of how they canonized aliens not being wildly alien in Star Trek
great.
originally. Everybody doing 1 point a year difference, etc. They were, because genetically we're all from the same stock.
We did
But
have a Kazon Cardassian baby.
oh yeah,
Who knows?
about
I mean,
that.
once Seska died and the baby was taken off after the first episode of season 3, we never saw the baby again. So who knows what it looked like?
Yeah, just had weird chunks of shit on its head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but anyway, it's just cool to see that happening elsewise too, and to get into Tellarites, because we never get into Tellarites other than being ornery pig people. So
The
my
writer for
start
this,
being-
Gaia Violo, she seems to be a relatively newer TV series writer. A couple of the series she did, Blood and Treasure, Absentia, and In From the Cold. Are you guys familiar with any of those?
no,
from the
Absentee, I think I've heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've heard of Absentia.
Yeah, so Absentia is an FBI agent, goes missing and then comes back a period later or whatnot. It seems like this writer is good at writing individual characters and basing stories around them. So that gives me a little bit of a concern. Also,
Oh.
her highest rated starred thing is a 7.1 for Absentia. So I have some concerns that the series might not deliver. But the Blood and Treasure TV show, it shows that she can do, some pretty impressive storylines as far as like around multiple characters. But it seems like her writing career kind of focused her more on individual character writing. So I guess we'll kind of see how that translates into Star Trek. I don't know. It sounds like it might have
Is
some
she writing
issues.
it or directing it?
I thought she was a
Is she
writer for
writing
the
it?
series.
Oh, is she writer? Okay.
Writer.
Yeah, but it doesn't look
And-
like she has any Star Trek chops. So it might just be. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I like the fact they're bringing Robert Picardo back, because I think a lot of Voyager hung on him. I mean, he was really a glue. There was many different glues. 7 and 9 really saved Voyager. But I think Robert Picardo from the start was really what kept it together.
Yeah, and there's
he just, shit hits the fan, go to sick bay. All right, the doctor found a cure. The doctor did this, and it just worked out. Oh, now he's got a mobile emitter. He can go on away missions. So, yeah, Robert Picardo did a very good job being the doctor.
Yeah.
And-
So can
and
you
I was-
explain to me how it makes sense that he's in this?
he's a hologram.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got the mobile emitter. It's 29th century technology. And basically his holo program can be programmed into just that little piece. And I'm assuming it's 29th century
Yeah,
tech.
it-
So it probably
the
has
way it-
endless battery.
Yeah, that's the
right.
way it works.
I
in
completely
Discovery. Their
forgot about
doctor
that. That
Yeah,
part
the
of-
doctor was killed. They didn't have a doctor, so they just did the emergency backup.
And he is just a program. So
Mhm.
really you could download him onto a little flash drive and take him somewhere else. But the mobile emitter is the way he can just go where the hell he wants.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, and just like they did with Star Trek Picard, when Q, who's omnipotent, never ages, they're immortal, but all of a sudden they showed John Delancey young, and automatically, oh, Picard, you've aged, and he aged too. So they'll probably do something like that with Picardo.
Yeah,
But like I was telling Maribane here, Robert Picardo looked like he was 60 when he was 40. So he's just an old soul.
yeah. He just has that like it's like middle-aged look about him when he was young. He's older. He just has that.
He just
it's
always looked
the
like
same look.
He always
Right.
looked like a tired old man.
That's right.
And another thing too is every Star Trek series has always had an episode writer, not a singular writer. So this one's going to follow that same thing too. So we won't be just listed, or it won't just be Guy. We've got Tammy Newson, Kirsten Beyer, Eric Glover, Kylie Rosetta, and Alex Taub also helming a lot of these episodes. So it'll be a group effort, unlike some of the other shows that have been out. And I just realized why I liked that absentee. I didn't like it. I mean, why I knew what it was, because Stana Katic was the main actress, and she was in a show with oh Christ, hold on, I'm terrible at this sometimes. She was in Castle, the show Castle with Nathan Fillion. And I really like. I watch anything with Nathan Fillion. I'm a Nathan Fillion fanboy. I'm not afraid to admit it. So she was in that, and she was, for some reason, she was like, unlike the guy's pretty universally liked, but for some reason she couldn't get along with him, and that's why the whole thing fell apart, because that show was doing really well. So I was curious where she ended up going after destroying a good show. That's where she ended up going. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, it is absolutely, and they're not ashamed to admit that this show is being aimed towards a young adult vibe. So I expect some CW vibes out of it at times, but I don't hate that. I don't mind it.
Maybe they do it kind of like Gen V, like where it's kind of Academy based, right? It's like the same kind of thing, but just aimed a little bit lower, and